What's up, guys? I hope you're all doing well, and thank you so much for popping into my review for Ralph Breaks the Internet. Why am I reviewing Ralph Breaks the Internet? Well, guess what? I already did a review for this film on the channel back when it came out in 2018. But I just recently talked about the original Wreck-It Ralph on the channel. Zootopia 2 is right around the corner, another big animated sequel from Disney Animation Studios. So I said, you know what? Let me look at the films that, got sequels theatrically by the studio. There's not a ton. So we're talking about Ralph Breaks the Internet. We're going to talk about The Rescuers 2, and other videos, of course, leading up to Zootopia 2. And I think this is all going to bookend with the new 4K release of The Emperor's New Groove for its 25th anniversary coming early December. And if Disney was doing the right thing and they had the right mindset, they're going to continue this trend. And next year, for its 30th anniversary, release my favorite animated film of all time, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, on 4K Blu-ray. I think that would be one of the best things to ever happen because the movie deserves so much more. It is this underrated gem. But we're not talking about The Hunchback of Notre Dame. We'll be talking about that next year for its 30th anniversary. No, today we're talking about Ralph Breaks the Internet. And this really was the first big sequel that the Disney Animation Studios did. Before this, they had Tangled, they had Frozen. They were not doing sequels at the time. Frozen 2 was really the big sequel to come out next, which if you see the credit sequence to this film, it's like a teaser kind of stupid little thing teasing Frozen 2, which is coming out the following year. I think Ralph Breaks the Internet isn't as good as the first movie. And when I saw it the first time, I liked it, but I was extremely disappointed by it because it's really not as good as the first film. They try to go bigger with it, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it's smartly written, but at other times it doesn't work. I like what they were trying to do in the film. By the end of it, I think the story was kind of lackluster. It's the story of Ralph and Vanellope, who are now best friends and hanging out when their games are not being played when the arcade is closed. And what's going to happen? Well, Sugar Rush is going to get unplugged. But why is it going to get unplugged? Because Vanellope is sick of the same old stuff, and Ralph wants to make her a new track. So he goes ahead and does it. But Vanellope takes the track, and the player, whatever happens with the steering wheel, and the thing pops off. So now they need to get another one. How are they going to do that? Well, there's only one in existence on the internet. I thought that was a little ridiculous, but that's on eBay. So what do they got to do? They got to go to eBay and they got to buy themselves a steering wheel because they plugged in the Wi-Fi. What's the new game being plugged in? No, it's not a new game. It's the Wi-Fi router. I thought all that was really interesting, and I liked it the way that they kind of wrote that into it. It was smart, and I think the smart writing is in the first half of the movie. The second half of the film, there's just so much that happens in this movie with them getting into the internet and going through eBay and step by step process they had to get to do it. Also, I love the Tron reference. I just got into the Tron films. Tronny Boy, I think he called him in the movie. I think that was a great sequence in the animation. They did a really good job adding Tron into the movie. And the arcade machine as well. And Space Invaders, I believe, is the Buzz Lightyear video game. I could be wrong about that, but the logo seems very Star Command. I don't know. But the story started to get a little questionable for me when Ralph has to make all these videos to get rich off of BuzzFeed or whatever the thing was. It's the dollar store version of YouTube because YouTube is in the film, but maybe they couldn't afford to actually put it in the screenplay in a more prominent role. Ralph can't make all his money off of YouTube. I don't know. So he makes these videos that a lot of people are seeing. He's collecting the likes, the comments, good and bad. I thought that was interesting. They had him walk into the comment section. That was cool. It was an added layer. But there's just problems with, Ralph. Who's taking these videos? He obviously looks 3D. Do the people that are watching these videos think that, it's some 3D animator making it? I really don't know. But it's coming from the account called Ralph. So once you start really looking into it, they have little phones that they call each other on, Vanellope and Ralph, throughout the thing. I thought that was all really strange. A little too much. They took it seriously at times, and then other times they kind of just were silly with it. So I think the film is 50-50 with me. It's a film where I like it a lot at certain times, but because I like it so much, when it makes poor choices throughout that last half of the film, when really you got to fight a Godzilla version of Ralph because he is trying to cause viruses in a slaughter race game because he wants to be friends and best friends with Vanellope and he doesn't want her to go. So he wants to buy the steering wheel, he gets some money, she's hanging out over there, he wants to bug the thing, and then all the Ralphs get together and it's so ridiculous. The third act of the movie is so ridiculous. The Disney princesses, they're okay to be in the film, but they have nothing to do in the movie other than Disney advertising their brand. I thought the joke about Brave being the other studio and nobody could understand what she's saying, that was funny. I think Ralph Breaks the Internet is a good animated film. I think the animation is better. Obviously, I mean, it was made after the first one, so it's definitely improved. But the story's not as good. It's a little too overconvoluted. And when it's smart, it is smart. But when it's dumb, it's pretty mind numbing. So, Ralph Breaks the Internet is a film that I am kind of middle of the road on, but I think it is good entertainment, and I'm giving 3.5 out of 5 stars. So, comment down below what's your thoughts on Ralph Breaks the Internet. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for reviews for future Disney Animation Studios films that I was just talking about, The Rescuers, and The Rescuers Down Under, all leading up to the new release of Zootopia 2. Guys, you can also follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram at KingArises131. That's better for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for Ralph Breaks the Internet. And until next time, over and out.